It's the TMZ Behind the Bar podcast with the TMZ lawyers, Jason Beckerman and Derek Kaufman.
Welcome to Behind the Bar. Derek, we have a brand new sponsor today.
Can I eat it?
You could, but it would be strange.
Okay.
ZipRecruiter.com, where employers can post your job to over 200 job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click of the mouse.
Unbelievable.
Podcast listeners can go to ZipRecruiter.com/TMZ to post for free.
Wow, free trial.
So, Derek, what we just did was an advertisement for
Absolutely.
ZipRecruiter.com, which we think is a great company, although we personally don't use it because we're not employers.
No, but we would look at candidates, and it would be a great tool for us to hire the right ones.
Seems like it would be a terrific tool. That is an advertisement. We did something last week and for the last few weeks from a company called Blue Apron, where we actually said during the advertisement that we have used the product.
Our families have used it. We got it delivered to our house.
Our families have used the product. That's a different type of advertisement. That's what we call an endorsement, right?
Yep.
Which makes us a lot like Khloe Kardashian.
We are just like the Kardashians. I have dibs on Kylie. Who would you like to be?
Oh, I'm Kim all the way.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I seed Kim, but Kim's had her best days. Her best days are behind her. If you get my drift. You get my drift?
For no other reason, I do. For no other reason than I love her wardrobe and I would love to have it.
Wonderful. Well, I'll take Kylie, but actually what you're talking about is Khloe. Khloe had a big news story today, or a couple days ago. What happened was Khloe went to an amusement park with her boyfriend, Tristan Thompson.
Yep.
Cleveland Cavaliers champion, got his rings. They went to an amusement park in Jamaica, and we got a couple shots of her standing behind a ride as she was about to get on, fully decked out in Nike gear. She had the Nike top, the swoosh. She had the yoga pants type look, de rigueur these days
As an
for
aside,
athletic
by
wear.
the way, her figure created quite the stir in the newsroom because she was wearing just a sports bra and tight leggings.
Yes.
Nike, and there were mixed reaction to the way she looked.
I would say mostly positive.
Mostly positive.
Mostly positive. She's athletic looking. She is a
She's
specimen.
so thin now. It was
thin.
remarkable. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, she had the midriff. It did cause a
Yeah.
bit of a stir, but it got us thinking about when a Kardashian puts on Nike, is that a sponsorship? And we actually had a question that came in that inspired this whole podcast from our biggest fan, Jason. Can you guess who it is?
Our most loyal listener.
The most loyal listener we have, Emily Burton, wrote in and said she had a question about celebrity posts when they cross the line into advertising. Kim Kardashian doing Snapchats with McDonald's and so forth, and said, what are celebrities required to do to let you know that it's an advertisement? Because sometimes she said she sees on social media they'll put #ad, and she's wondering, is this enough? Is that to cover their butts in terms of the legalities? So it got us thinking. Let's do a whole podcast on it.
Well, so this just is a little window into Derek and me. Anytime anything remotely interesting comes up, he and I will spend countless hours discussing and hashing it out. It drives our wives crazy.
It does, and Emily inspired a deep delve. Which is our favorite thing to do.
And here's where we came out.
So basically, we looked into this, and they actually do have to put things like #advertisement. And the reason they have to do that is because the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, has endorsement guides for when celebrities step up and they want to endorse a particular product. The worry is that you're going to mislead the public. So the FTC's concern is to safeguard the public that they're getting good information, or at least that they know when someone's being paid to advertise a product versus they just like the product.
Right.
So if Kim Kardashian wanted to just eat some McDonald's and McDonald's didn't pay for it, and she said, yummy McDonald's.
She certainly has a First Amendment right
Sure.
to talk about things she likes and she doesn't like. The First Amendment, though, is sort of...
I'm glad you brought up the First Amendment. That's core free speech right
Right.
there. If she just likes McDonald's and she posts and they're not paying her, when they start to pay her, we call it commercial speech.
And once you get into commercial speech, we won't bog down on this and
Sure.
nerd out too much, but once you get into commercial speech, now you don't have the same First Amendment protections that you did when it's just opinion speech.
That's right. So the first commercial speech is much more restrictive, and the FTC says if you're doing something as an advertisement, you're being paid by a company to endorse their product, you can't be deceptive at all, and you have to let them know that you're being paid to advertise it. So some of the ways we do this in social media, because now you can do advertisements everywhere. It's not just TV and radio. You got social media, Twitter, all these sort of things. And what they have to do is put an indication that it's an advertisement. So you'll sometimes see #ad or #spawn, which is short for sponsored, just to let people know that, okay, I'm saying this on my social media, but that this is just like a commercial on TV.
I'm getting paid for it. So, really letting the public know, and this is the Federal Trade Commission's #1 mission, letting the public know that, you might want to look at this ad with a jaundiced eye. Don't think that necessarily Kim Kardashian loves this product or Khloe Kardashian loves this product, because it might just be a paid advertisement and people say things for money that they don't necessarily mean. And that's okay.
Absolutely.
But the public needs to know.
Yeah, and there's lengthy guidelines. We won't bog you down with sort of the details, but the FTC looks into this, and they've covered a host of issues to say when you have to disclose to the public that you're doing an advertisement. One interesting issue that they brought up, which I just wanted to let you guys know about, is product placement. You see this in movies all the time. If someone is drinking a Coke in a movie conspicuously with the can tilted towards the camera, they don't disclose that, and that's because the FTC sees product placement as different. Did you know that? I thought that was interesting. So the FTC says you have to disclose when you're advertising the product, when you say the product is wonderful. But if you shoot a movie and you want to have Coke pay you for time in your movie, you can just tilt the can that way. And I think the FTC says people are sophisticated enough to know that when you see a Coke can in a movie, it's not a full endorsement of the product, and that's actually acceptable without disclosure.
And the really interesting thing is what I touched on a minute ago, the difference between ZipRecruiter and Blue Apron. If a celebrity gets on, or even non-celebrities like you and me get on, and we say that we are endorsing a product, that we've used a product, and this product had this effect on us, we better be truthful. You're not just allowed to make that up. We couldn't say what we said about Blue Apron, enjoying it, using it, cooking it with our families, unless that was actually true. I mean, who knows about enjoying it? I guess you could have puffery, but in terms of using the product, you better be right. And I think nothing points that out more starkly than a couple of Viagra ads.
Erectile dysfunction really just is an apt metaphor.
Right. So in the one, we're going to play you two commercials. The first one is the random Viagra ad that you've all seen, which is
an actor reading about the drug.
An actor reading about the drug. And in most cases on Viagra, it's a female actor talking about kind of in kind of loose terms about the benefits it's had on her life.
Right.
About half of men over 40 have some degree of erectile dysfunction. Well, Viagra helps guys with ED get and keep an erection.
You couldn't have picked Lexapro or something? You had to go with Viagra
I
for this one, where two middle-aged men sitting at a table talking about erectile dysfunction?
Can you tell me the taglines in a Lexapro commercial?
I could not tell you.
But you can tell me a lot about what they say in Viagra, so I wanted to present something that was good for the audience.
Yeah, and this is a quintessential example of puffery, right? This is a woman luring people to try Viagra. It's a sort of a sultry voice saying, men face this issue, and if you want to attract the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever.
Thank you for
I really
being
painted myself into a corner.
But so if you want to attract other dudes, you can take Viagra. That's true too.
As well.
That's true
But this is just salesmanship, right?
Right.
She was paid to read a script, and she's reading.
And nowhere in there does she specifically talk about her experiences with the pill, maybe with a partner who had taken the pill. Compare that to this next commercial, which involves Rafael Palmeiro, the maybe one day Hall of Fame baseball player, one of the great players of all time, who said this in a Viagra commercial.
My doctor says it's right for me. That's why I stay with it.
So he is actually saying in that commercial, I stay with it. And the implication there is, I use this drug. I like the effects that it has. It has worked for me to combat erectile dysfunction. If
this is a testimonial. This
Right.
is someone standing up there and saying, I tried it and it works. That you have the potential for deception. With
Right.
the woman, you expect her to puff about the drug a little bit.
And the reason, obviously, this is very intuitive, the reason that companies like Viagra and every other company in the world hires celebrities to do it is because people want to emulate celebrities. They want to do the things that celebrities do. And so, once again, if you're going to get a celebrity who's going to get there and lie about not having used a product, you're deceiving people into thinking that their hero, Rafael Palmeiro, used a drug when in fact he didn't. Now, Rafael Palmeiro has famously been discredited because he was a user of performance-enhancing drugs, been kicked out of the Hall, any Hall of Fame consideration.
Different kind of performance enhancer.
Yes,
than his Viagra.
It just popped into my mind. He's now a known liar. He got up in front of Congress and testified under oath he had not used PEDs, then tested positive for them, and sort of went into hiding after that.
But I would still believe he's a demon in the sack. I mean, nothing about his
That was my exact question. Does that cause you to believe that he does not suffer from erectile dysfunction? He actually can handle it without it.
I still believe in Rafael Palmeiro. And look, this is why the FTC gets involved, because we're joking about it, but if Rafael Palmeiro, he can sway people. He's a celebrity, and kids wanted to grow up and hit a baseball like him. So if he says, hey, pop this pill and you'll slay some ladies, that's going to have more of an impact than the woman reading the script. So the rules change, right? You have the potential for deception.
And one of the most interesting things that we found out about, thanks to Emily and our deep delve, is that the individual celebrity actually could face liability.
Yes.
If Rafael Palmeiro did this ad, obviously the company could be sued for false advertising by its competitors. It could be taken up. It could be ordered to pay fines by the FTC. And we'll talk a little bit about a really famous example of a company paying tens of millions of dollars with the most famous spokesperson in the world.
Is it the ShamWow guy?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good.
The FTC, shake weight. The FTC can actually go after Rafael Palmeiro, assuming he was lying. I'm sure he wasn't. But if he was lying about that, the FTC could actually sue him individually, assess fines against him for an unpurposed statement. If you and I, Derek, if you lied about Blue Apron, we are screwed.
Yeah, no, this is a serious issue, though, Jason, because when you have a celebrity endorser, and especially in the age of social media, we have something in the law that we describe as a trap for the unwary. A lot of people don't know that the FTC has these guidelines. So you could have some celebrities, you could have an Aaron Carter out there start to hawk something and think, I don't have to put #ad, just because he doesn't know. Not because he's thumbing his nose at the FTC, but because he's ill-advised by the people around him. And you could see this as being an issue. You could open yourself up to liability, right?
You could, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what the FTC says. They specifically say the liability in their guidelines, liability does extend to the celebrity endorser. The most notorious example of a celebrity getting mixed up in the endorsement game is Kim Kardashian, who I said it in just a minute ago, but I think it's true. The single most famous celebrity in the world. Do you agree?
Oh, I think she's up there. I mean, who even touches Kim Kardashian?
Beyonce would be the one person that I can think of. Maybe Messi.
Beyonce. Then you get into the soccer stars, but I think a whole segment of the population doesn't know the soccer stars.
Yeah.
I think they're not as well known amongst women.
Anyway, the most notorious example, and we are going to get back to that in just a minute. But first, a quick message about ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter, as I mentioned before, with ZipRecruiter, employers can post their job openings to 200 different job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. It's not going hunting around from website to website. It is a single click, 200 plus sites in one.
It's amazing, too, because the best part about this is if you're trying to hit all those at once, you'd have to juggle a bunch of emails, hit a different sites all at once. Really, this is one-stop shopping, so you can quickly look at the candidates, rate them, check out their resumes, and evaluate them quickly, which is a really important thing to employers.
Right. You and I advertise all the time, or seek job hunters all the time.
Sure.
And one of the important things is we want to seek them around the country. And that's what Zip allows you to do that as well. You don't have to just be in your local market or find sites that appeal to local markets or local employees. This appeals across the country with, a single click, which is remarkable to me. What a quantum leap forward from when I first got into this game 10, 12 years ago. And you would go from one to the other.
Did you have to
the
walk
other.
6 miles in the snow to find an applicant?
You did. You had to put notes in people's mailboxes and things like that. It was
Jason
really
is 120 years old. He looks great for his age. But anyway, right now, our listeners can go post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/TMZ. That's ZipRecruiter.com/TMZ, and go there and try it for free. All right.
So let's get back into Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian's actually had two interesting. None of this has really been her fault, I don't think. Well, I take that back. One of them was really her fault, but there were two instances. Mm-hmm. The one that's really her fault.
And she's got a coterie of advisors, so I don't really feel for her in the same way as I feel for someone without great advisors around them.
That's absolutely true. The most recent example involved Kim Kardashian's tout of the Disaglass morning after pill.
Oh my!
On her within social media. So the FDA in that situation, which
that's basically a Plan B pill. I understand it.
Is that right?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Morning after pill. That's a Plan B pill, right?
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian was paid by a company called Disaglass to post on social media and elsewhere about this morning after pill. Now, the situation involving Kim Kardashian and the morning after pill was a little bit different. She didn't specifically claim that she was using the pill.
Okay.
She touted it. She happened to be pregnant at the time. I think there was a natural inclination to believe that. But
what a strange thing to tout at a time when you're pregnant.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily that she didn't mark it as being an ad, but what she didn't do there, the FDA has all these restrictions on advertising of pharmaceutical. No, FDA.
Oh, FDA. I'm sorry.
On advertising for pharmaceuticals. And going back to the Viagra commercial, we won't play it for you. But you guys have heard this.
Oh, the host of side effects. And
all the side effects, the things you have to watch out for, the things you should ask your doctor
that
about.
always sound worse than the problem you're solving.
Right.
Always leaky anus just to address erectile dysfunction on one night. It's just weird.
Is that a pro or a con?
I remember, just as a quick aside, do you remember Wow Chips and Alestra when it was all the rage?
By the way,
I missed that.
That was bogus. Those things were fantastic.
They were fantastic.
I don't know if it was bogus, but I loved them.
And it softened your stool, if anything. This was a great advantage. You never were constipated. It was wonderful. Bring them back. I was into it.
So anyway,
sorry about that. I digress.
Kim sang the virtues, but not the risks of the drug. And we know that the FDA, and by virtue through the FTC, which controls advertising, there are restrictions on what you can say about a drug. We hear these side effects. We hear all the downsides. We hear ask your doctor. In a social media post, she didn't have the time or the inclination or the space police to do something like that. She just put it out there. I love this. The FDA came down hard on Dissy Glass, and the letter demanded the company correct the problems by getting Kim to repost her endorsements with the proper warning. She simply deleted it.
So she was being paid by that company. She wasn't just saying, I enjoy this and I happen to be Kim Kardashian, which would be fine.
Huge point. First Amendment right to speak about products she likes without having to attribute them to any, or attribute the side effects to them. Instead, what she did was she got paid by this company to put it up.
Yeah, and that's where the problem lies. Because I love a lot of things. I love Hall & Oates, but they don't give me a dime for me playing their music, and I'm not their endorser.
You would accept money from them for saying it, though, right?
In a second.
If next week's
I'm a big yacht rock fan.
If next week's podcast is we're brought to you by Hall & Oates.
If I couldn't describe a more exciting thing for me than Daryl Hall giving me a call and saying, you know what, I really want to get involved with the cast.
You think he handles his own ad work?
I think Oates might.
All right, but one other example that Kim K, one a big piece of trouble that she got in was with the company Skechers, the shoe company. I remember a few years back in 2011, they came out with that shoe that had the rounded bottom and it was really high up, and it sort of.
So you were challenging your core as you walk,
and developing your calves as well, and that was the whole thing with Skechers. The FTC came out and said these claims are bogus, and Kim Kardashian had done a commercial for them where she taught the whole thing is she's in the gym with like this trainer, and they're both sweaty and sexy and the whole thing, and she says, "You're the best I've ever had,"
and it's just a pair of shoes.
But you're fired because I now have Skechers, which do everything for me that you did for me. Big celebrity endorsement, big endorsement by Skechers to get Kim frankly at the height of her powers. If you watch this commercial,
and those were health claims, so that involved some deceptive advertising, even by the company itself potentially.
Right. Exactly what the FTC found was that we had these health claims. Skechers was actually sued by the FTC. They ended up paying a $40 million settlement based on their purportedly, allegedly false claims that they had that this shoe didn't actually do what they do. The FTC, interestingly, did not go after Kim Kardashian, but I think they could have.
Yeah, I think if she was, making false claims herself, I think she would be exposed to some liability, saying that I use these shoes, giving no credence to her other diet and her other exercise, and saying that these shoes made me look this way. I think you could open yourself up to a little liability, right?
Now, if you watch the commercial, and unfortunately we don't have it for you, but if you listen to the commercial, watch the commercial, it's out there online. It's pretty easy to find. Of Kim Kardashian endorsing Skechers. There's no direct statement by her that these shoes have done X, Y, and Z for me. But she did a lot of public appearances wearing the shoes. She exercised wearing the shoes, and then this commercial suggests she no longer needs a trainer. I'm not really sure that rises to the level of actionable conduct on her part. Certainly Skechers. Right. Whether Kim did it or not, I'm not sure.
You have to really look at the words. You got to parse words here, and if she carefully phrases what the product is actually doing for her, and they hedge a lot. I mean, if you actually listen closely and look at the actual content of what's being said, I don't think there was liability here, but there could be. If you go out and say, Viagra
gave me wood for 6 straight hours.
Yeah, gave me an erection for 6 hours, and I performed like I'd never performed, you could verifiably falsify that, right?
What about the leaky anus?
The leaky anus is I don't know what to say.
So anyway, thanks so much to Emily. We love this when you guys write in topics. This is the second or third time we've done this. It makes our lives a lot easier because we have to come up with this content, and you did the yeoman's work.
Yeah, keep them coming.
All right, mail time. Remember to write in your questions and comments to behindthebar@tmz.com. We only got one today, but I think you guys will like it. It's a good one. It's from Sarah Johnson. You guys posted a story about Sean Kingston allegedly getting beaten up by the Migos recently. The fight was apparently broken up when a friend of Sean's pulled a gun and fired a warning shot. Though he got arrested, is it ever legal to fire a warning shot similar to this?
We all know about self-defense, but this is actually a different doctrine called defense of others, right, Jason?
Defense of others, and that's totally legitimate. It used to be the rule, I guess, that you could step into the shoes of the person who was actually being on the ground, in this case Sean Kingston, and do whatever force he could use. But that's pretty much the rule, that if somebody that you're there to take care of is, potentially their lives in danger, you're allowed to take deadly force in order to stop that.
Absolutely. The idea is that you're protecting life. And if Sean can't protect himself through self-defense, someone can step in and protect Sean. Now, the different issue is
he could have shot one of the Migos.
Right. So
potentially. I mean, assuming the facts are what they think they are, that he actually legitimately thought.
If someone's about to stomp him and curb him, let's say, you could shoot that individual because he may kill
But can he shoot up in the air?
That's the interesting point. So this law is actually, I think, all over the place. Different jurisdictions treat it differently. But the basic rule is that it could be illegal to just discharge a firearm, which seems like perverse logic, because you could shoot the Migos who's about to stomp him,
Yeah.
but you can't shoot into the air, which seems like a more harmless act because maybe the bullet could come down and
The chances of somebody
and
getting hot
recklessly
by-
hurt somebody.
We,
very remote.
We
though.
talked about this in the morning meeting. Everybody's like, no, bullets kill people falling out of the sky all the time. It's an incredible unlikely.
Incredibly rare. The trajectory is
Is
all
it
off.
more or less likely than at point blank range shooting somebody in the face?
Right.
That's more likely to kill.
I think that's where
right?
you win
Right,
the argument.
right,
Okay,
right.
but in certain jurisdictions, Florida is just passed a law. Governor Rick Scott's a very pro-gun state. In 2014, passed a law that said you can shoot into the air and discharge your firearm and brandish it to stop sort of a dangerous situation, and you can do that, and you're actually immune from civil liability if someone gets hurt by that warning shot. So
Yeah.
actually a warning shot, it's actually promoting that use of force over shooting the Migos in the face.
And nothing to do with politics, but Rick
Yeah.
Scott's a total Looney Tune.
Yeah.
Dude is crazy, and that's not political. He even on right-wing Republican kind of thing, he's wackadoodle.
Hasn't
But
crazy taken a different definition
Yeah,
though now
it
that we're in
really
the Trump
has.
presidency?
But-
Some of these guys
but
seem
I
more
think Rick
normal
Scott's
to me.
right on this. It seems like the right thing to do. Instead of just shooting somebody in the face point blank anytime you feel in danger, fire a warning shot.
I agree with you, although it's a slippery slope towards everyone's just brandishing firearms to defuse
well, that's a
situations,
bigger
and I worry
issue.
about that.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's it for mail time.
All right, thanks everybody, and remember, download us or subscribe at iTunes Store. Check us out on YouTube.
Send in some questions.
Send in some
Love
questions.
to see 'em all.
Yeah, absolutely. Give us topic ideas. We love it. And any replacements for Parker, we're taking resumes.
Yeah, we are taking resumes. Go to
should
ZipRecruiter and
put
send
that
in
in
some
ZipRecruiter.
send in some resumes.
Go to ZipRecruiter.com, where employers can post over their job openings to over 200 job sites simultaneously, including social media sites like Facebook and Twitter. So we can do that, put it out there for the world. Parker replacement.
So head on over to ZipRecruiter.com/TMZ and start your free trial.
Thanks for watching. If you want more nerdy deep dives into the legal side of celebrity news, hit our subscribe button right here.
And check out our previous episodes over here.